Hello again. We are continuing our discussion of sequences by talking about how to identify specific terms in a given sequence. So let's get started. The first thing I can ask you to do is to identify the term. So here's an example of a sequence. And the first row gives you the term number, and the second row gives you the actual term in the sequence. So what this table means is that term number 1 is 2, the second term is 5, the third term is 8, the fourth term is 11, and the fifth term is 14. So what I could do is I could give you the term number that I want, and you would have to tell me what that term actually is. So a couple of examples. What is the second term in the sequence, or what is the fourth term in the sequence? And all you really need to do is look it up in the table to answer the question. So if I wanted to know what the second term was, I would look up 2 in the n row and look at what number is underneath it in the an row. And so it looks like the second term in this sequence is 5. Then if I need the fourth term in the sequence, I would look at the table again. I would find the number 4 in the n row and look at what's underneath it in the an row. So it looks like the fourth term is 11. So that's one type of question I can ask you. And of course, the other way is I give you the term that's in the sequence and you tell me what number it is, what position it is in that sequence. So I could ask you which term in the sequence is 8 or which term in the sequence is 14. So to answer the first question, I'm going to look in the table, but now I'm going to look in the an row and I'm going to look for the number 8. And there it is. The number above it is 3. So that means that the number 8 must be the third term in the sequence. Then I do the same thing. I look in the an row for the number 14, and I look above it, and that number is 5, which means that 14 must be the fifth number in that sequence. Okay? And of course, I can mix and match. If I wanted to know what the first term was in this sequence, I would look for the number 1 in the first row. And underneath it is the number 2. That means that the first term in this sequence is 2. What is the fifth term in this sequence? Well, that's n, so I need to look up 5 in the n row, and underneath it is 162. That means that 162 is the fifth term. Which term in the sequence is 54? So now I'm asking the second type of question. So I'm looking in the second row for the number 54, and it looks like the number 4 is above it, so that means that 54 must be the fourth term. And then the last question is which term in the sequence is 6? So I'm looking for 6 in the second row. Above it is the number 2. That means that 6 must be the second term in that sequence. So fairly simple questions, but you do need to be able to tell them apart. We'll do more practice on this later. And if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you tomorrow.